All right. So, good morning, everyone. We're going to start seated, um, playing a little bit with hips today, doing some figure four kind of stuff, just stretching out everything in the hips, the legs, and the lower back. So, start by sitting really well. And you know what that means for you, whether your legs are straight or crossed, or maybe you're sitting on a block more in hero pose, which is also a lovely way to begin class. And then feel your spine really lengthen up. Crown of the head reaches up, the chin is nice and level, the tailbone reaches down, and you feel the natural curves of your spine, right? So, especially in the lower back, it can be really tricky to find that natural curve where you're not overarching or rounding in the lower back where you feel your spine kind of popping out. So find that middle space, maybe a little bit of tone to the belly to help support that. Shoulders go to your side body, your elbows are nice and heavy. Maybe you close your eyes here. And maybe you start to tap into your breath. And we just breathe. We start to feel the lungs really expand, trying to draw the breath all the way down to the bottom lobes of the lungs. And then as we release, as we exhale, letting go of all that air, especially the stuff way down low, right? We don't want that stagnant air sitting at the base of the lungs. As we inhale, the belly reaches out, the lungs reach out. We feel that expanse all the way around, even into the back body. And as we exhale, the chest doesn't collapse, but everything draws back in towards center. We start to notice the jaw relaxing, the space behind the eyes relaxing. And we start to allow the body to begin its practice, right? So even here, just seated, not moving, the body begins the practice. The mind begins the practice. We let go of external distractions and thoughts. Just take a nice, easy breath. Good. One more here, purposeful. Good. And then open the eyes. Start to roll the shoulders, both shoulders. Just take them up to the ears, back and down. That's it. Stretching it out. And then just one shoulder, maybe it's your left shoulder, starts to roll so that you notice, right? Where is that stretch for you as you open up one side and then take the same left hand to your shoulder, do a nice roll or circle with your elbow. Breathe. And then take the elbow out to the side, extend that hand, turn the palm up, curl fingers, wrist, hold. Straight arm here if you can. The belly is slightly toned, just stretching out the back of your hand, right? All through the wrist. This is really important stretch here, especially one we do a lot of, down dog planks. So we're stretching the opposite way, but computer work, right? Everything, getting that nice stretch through the back of the arm. Really feel that. And then open up the palm, turn your palm forward and bring it straight across your body. Stretch out that shoulder. And notice, right, as you wiggle that left shoulder forward and back, I mean, one, you're going into a little bit of a twist, but maybe you find a little different stretch and then pause. Keep the left shoulder down away from the ear. The habit here will be to bring that shoulder up. So just stretch, hold, relax your head, your neck, how much tension we carry there. Big deep breath and let it go. Just shake it out. Good. Other side, roll your right shoulder. Maybe go a little bit slower. Feel where you feel this roll. Is it at the back? Is it at the top, up by your tip of your shoulder and neck, right? And then bring your hand to your elbow and stretch. Hand to elbow. I realized what I just said. Bring your hand to your shoulder and big circle your range of motion. And then bring the elbow out to the side. Take the arm out to the side, palm face up. Curl your fingers, curl your wrist. Try to keep the arms straight. Woo, it's amazing how much tension we carry along that back of the arm. Good, breathe, elbow straight as you can, right? Don't hyperextend it, but keep the arm nice and straight. You'll get more stretch. Big deep breath, good. Release, turn your palm forward, bring that arm across. And then maybe just a little side to side, moving through your waist. That's it. And then find your tight spot and hold. Draw the right shoulder away from the ear. Just find that. Ooh, yeah. Beautiful day today. Good. Release it. Shake it out. Take both arms up. Interlace those hands. Press them out in front of you. Roll the shoulders down. And then just turn the palms in and press them out. Good. Press them in and back out. Wrist work here. Bring them in and out. Last one. Bring them in. Bring them out. Reach up, reach up, reach up. Take it over to your right. Pause. Oh, big stretch. Tone the belly. Inhale, center. Go over to your left. Breathe. Good. Center. Inhale, go to your right. And then circle your torso. Bringing those arms forward, reaching up 3 times, same side. Pressing through the hands, finding your breath. Stretching out your back, take it up, go to the other side, left, and then circle. Belly should be toned here, right? Because we want to make sure we're supporting torso and lower back. One more big circle. And breathe, reach those arms, separate them, take them out to the side, turn the palms down, and shake it out. Whew. Roll out your wrists. Good, roll them the other way, and shake. Good, and then let's straighten those legs. Whew. So make sure your flesh is moved out from the sit bones. You can be sitting on a blanket if you want, on a pillow, something like that. And then just slide, try not to use your hands, just slide your left leg up and bring it back down. And then slide it up and down. If you lift your foot, maybe you see how close to your hip you can get it. And slide. It doesn't have to be super close. Good. Slide it up and down. Good. This time, as you slide your foot up, let it come out to the side. And notice where it landed. If you need to or want to adjust your foot from there with your hands, go ahead and do that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, little swan dive. Pause. Feel that first stretch of the hamstring on your right leg. Let the hands come to the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Good. Start to draw the right hip back as you bring the torso forward. And then notice again your spine. Are you really rounding? Do you feel your chest caving in? Or can you draw the chest forward as if you could bring your chest bone, right? That sternum right to your big toe. That's it. Say good morning to your hamstrings and then just turn the toes in and out as if your toes, as if your right foot were a little metronome and you're going out and then back across. That's it. Breathe. And then foot forward, maybe come into your deeper stretch, maybe not. Crown of the head reaching forward, chin isn't dropping. And take it all the way up. Roll your shoulders. Good. Listen up. Without using your hands, if you can, bend your right knee, bring it up, come to Badakanasana. We played with this a little bit last class. Once those feet are together, you can use your hands to adjust or just hold on to the ankles. But lift your spine, lift your torso, drop the tailbone, feel those little inner thighs happening, right? Maybe a soft flutter. I don't even like to call it a bounce. I don't like bouncing so much in yoga, but just a little flutter of those legs waking up your inner thighs. And then again here, either you're here, by the way, right? Blocks under knees if the knees are really high up and you would like a little bit of support there. But then maybe the hands just come forward a little bit. Don't come way forward. This is way too deep for this early in class. Roll the shoulders. Just feel the stretch on your inner thighs. Big deep breath, right? We draw oxygen into the muscles. The muscles are allowed to relax. If you grip or if you are over tightening, right, by trying to push through when it is tight, you're just going to stay tight, right? The muscles won't respond to that kind of force. Good. Take the torso up. Hands come back to your heart. Listen up. Bring your right knee back up. Step it up. Straighten it out. Bring your left knee up. Lift that foot. Straighten it out. Dandasana pose. Hands are to your sides. Shoulders are down. Belly's toned. Breathe. Good fired up legs, like really fire them up. Feel the quadriceps become really active here. Good, release. Hands come to your heart or anywhere you would like. You're gonna bend your right knee, bring it in and then straighten it. Bring it in and straighten. Now you may just slide it part way, right? Your knees might not allow that bigger, deeper stretch. So just go where you're gonna go. Bring it up and straighten it. This time as you bring it up, hold, turn that knee out to the side, find wind, Janu Sirsasana, lift the torso nice and long, inhale, reach up. Exhale, halfway down, little swan dive, and right away we draw that left femur back into the hip socket, right? That left thigh bone. Let the hands come down, open up the shoulders, make them nice and wide. Find your breath. Say good morning to this hamstring, right? Finding our openings this morning. I find it really interesting that the body really seems to be different every day, depending on what our activities are, what we're doing. So we just find where it is today. Breathe. Lengthen. Turn the toes out and in, out. And they don't go in very far, but they might go out all the way to the pinky edge, right? Internal, external rotation of the hip. And then bring those toes forward. Maybe you come in a little bit deeper for your hamstring stretch this morning, maybe not. That's it. And slide your way back up. Open those shoulders. Hands come to your heart. Bend your left. Bring those soles of the feet together. Take the knees back out to the side. You can have blocks under each knee. And breathe, little Badakanasana here. I may have prematurely taken my sweater off. We'll see. We're going to have to get moving really soon. Good. Just stretch it out. Maybe the fingertips come forward. Deeper stretch, right? That's it. Notice and breathe, everybody. Good. Come back to straight up. Hands come up. Take your left knee up. Straighten that leg out. Bring your right knee up. Straighten that one out. Find Dandasana again. Hands come back to the floor. Shoulders draw back. Belly tones in. Left leg lifts up. Woo. You know, right? This is almost every class these days as we start to strengthen or we continue to strengthen the quadricep muscles. So big tone to the belly. If you lean back, just try to lean back a little, not a lot. Bend that knee, bring it into your chest. Turn it out to the side. And if you can, let your foot land above your right knee. So think of a seated figure four, right? So we're going to start here really easy. If you feel like your straight leg, that right leg is feeling a little hyperextended, I would either fold your mat under it or grab a blanket and fold that under. So just be careful of pressure right at the knee and then lift your torso. Whew. So little baby figure four, we're starting easy. Maybe the torso walks forward a little bit. If that leg above knee just feels yucky, bring it down to the shin so that there's less pressure on your thigh, whatever feels right for you. Yep, breathe everybody. So now we're in this little figure four and we're stretching the heck out of our right leg. Lengthen the torso. Try not to round here. It's so tempting, right, to just kind of drape the body over. But let's see if we can stay with that alignment in the spine. Good. Take your torso back up so you're really well seated and then start to bend the right leg. Any amount that makes sense for you. So again, depending on your knees, your hips, you might be mostly straight leg. You might be foot all the way to the floor, your right foot all the way to the floor. Feel free to use your hands for support. Just don't collapse your chest. And notice, and then maybe flex your right foot and bring it back to the floor. Flex and drop. One more here. Just flex it and drop. Slide your right leg back out. Release, no hands. Press that left leg back out. Shake it out. Roll it out. Good. Once again, Dandasana, hands to your sides. Lift your right leg. Woo, feel that thigh muscle working, right? Stay lifted in your chest best you can. Press down through the left leg. That'll help a little bit with the grounding aspect, right? As we press down, we can lift up a little bit better. And then bend your knee. Turn it out to the side. Let your ankle land above the knee or below the knee. And then lift up really tall. Flex your left foot. Find that energy. Good. Maybe you point, maybe you flex. And then start to take your torso forward. Breathe. Whoo, yeah. Press down through your left leg. Watch the left knee. Just make sure it's feeling good and strong and healthy. That's it. Lengthen the torso over that leg. Feel the left hamstring. Big old stretch. And take the torso up. Bend your left knee. Find your figure four on this side. Hands can come back for support. Flex your left foot and press the toes back down. Good. One more big flex. And press it down. Lift up, lift up, lift up. Breathe and then straighten your left leg. Release your right leg. Straighten it out. Shake it out. Almost done here. Almost done. Woo. Good. Roll your shoulders back. Hands come down. Lift your right leg. Find that pose. Whew. You got it. Breathe. Bend the knee. Take it over the left knee or below again, just like we were before. Bend your left knee as much or as little as you want or can. Hands back behind you for support. Don't collapse. I think we got that message, right? And then I want you to rock side to side. So when you rock side to side, your thigh might come all the way to the floor. Your foot comes to the floor as you go left, right? You're stretching it out. And what I want you to feel is just rolling over those glute muscles, in particular, the external hip rotators, in particular, the piriformis, right? Some of this will sound very familiar to those of you with sciatica pain and some hip pain, right? We're just rolling over those muscles, those glutes, being kind, being gentle. The next time your foot is on the floor to the left, just pause and then lift up best you can. Just wrap your arms around and sit tall. Big deep breath. You got it. Good. Release those hands, lean back, keep the connection, go the other way. That thigh might not come all the way to the floor. It's a pretty deep little twist here. So we stretch, right? And then we've got that left hip stretching. Take the left arm, reach it over and across, let your hands come to the floor. Nice little twist here. That's it. Feel the stretch where you feel it. Release your left hand, bring it back around, lift your knees back up. Slide your left leg straight. Try not to use your hands, lift your leg, and straighten that right leg, shake it out. All right, other side, left leg lifts. Breathe. Right, ankles, you get to play here. So if you want to roll things out or scrunch and spread while you're doing it, go ahead. It's awesome. Bend your left knee, turn it out to the side, drop that leg over your other, just like we've done before. Lift those shoulders, hands come behind, bend your right knee. You'll have to lean back a little bit to find that stretch. And once again, just start rocking side to side. Maybe your foot comes to the floor. Maybe your thigh comes to the floor. Who knows, right? We're all different. Watch the knees. Make sure you're not getting any pain or weird sensation here. And feel those little butt muscles, right? It's basically what it is. It's your butt. Good. If you're doing a lot of sports or biking or running, tennis, right? Really anything. Sometimes just long days of sitting at work. All right, next time your foot is to the floor, let that foot come to the floor. I didn't say this on the other side, but you can always straighten the right knee if that bothers you, bent like that. And then sit up really tall, just wrap your hands around. That's it. Notice your breathing, notice your jaw. Keeping it simple. Release the hands, take them back behind you, switch to the other side. See if that thigh maybe comes to the floor, that right thigh, and then reach your right arm over and come into a twist. Maybe you feel that nice stretch through your belly. Maybe it's into the hip, right? It's different for everybody. All right, release it. Right arm comes back, the knees come back. Your right leg stretches back out. Your left leg stretches back out. We shake them both out. And then last one here, I want you to bend both knees. Take both feet out to the side. No hands if you can help it until those feet are together. Ooh, feel those feet. Breathe. Lift your chest, tone your belly. That's it. And then either you're going to stay here or you're going to lean back a little bit. You're just going to try to hold on to those feet and see if you can lift them off the floor and breathe. So just a teeny bit of balance work here. That's it. Can you let go with one hand? Woo. Push your feet together. Can you let go with the other hand and still have those feet hovering off the floor? And release it. Bring those knees together, straighten the legs fully, and let's come to table pose. After all that, my goodness. All right, so table pose, everybody. Tone your bellies in, find your knees underneath your hips, your wrists under shoulders or slightly forward, your fingers equally spaced, press your right leg back. And then really press into that thigh or that calf muscle. So draw the heel back and then come to your toes. And draw the heel back and toes. Good. This time, draw your heel back, flip your left toes under, and just lift your knee off the floor. So your left knee is off the floor, your right leg is straight. Whole lot of work going on. The belly squeezes in, you're pressing into your hands. Optionally, lift your left toes off the floor so your knee is hovering, and you're in this funky little kind of almost like a runner's stance. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your left foot. Lower your left knee. Lift your right leg. Tone the belly. Squeeze it in. Take the left arm out. Let's go to balancing table. That's it. And something we haven't done in a while, your left elbow heads toward your left hip as your right knee heads toward your right elbow. And let's see if we can go 5 here. Bring it in and out. Good. And 3, out, 4, out, and 5. Squeeze it in, press it out. Release your left hand, release your right knee. Maybe you sit back in a hero pose or any other way to just come on off your wrist, shake them out, roll them out. Little bit of core work, right? Yoga's never about one thing. You hear me say that all the time, right? We can work hips, but we're really working everything. That's the beauty of it, for sure. All right, come on back up. Spread out those fingers, press into the pads of those fingers. Really make sure your hands feel good. Press the left foot back and then draw way back into the heel. Stretch the calf, muscle the Achilles, and then come to your toes and press back again. Good, hold that press back. Really tone in through the belly. That's the only way this really happens, right? Flip your toes under on your right, lift your right knee. So you still have 4 points of contact, right? We're still breathing, shoulders draw back, find your breath, either stay here or lift the foot, squeeze the belly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the foot, lower the knee, lift your left leg, find balancing table on this side, squeeze the belly in, reach the right arm. Find your breath. You got this. 5, 4. I don't know where I'm counting today. 3 and 2. 1. Lower it down. Lower your knee. Good. Sit back for a moment. Oh, thank you. My student in the other room, otherwise known as my husband, is going, you forgot something. So come back to table and elbow knee and elbow hip. Thank you. 5. That's where the count was. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Thank you very much. I would have hated to miss that, wouldn't you? Good. Now lower down and sit back. It's like the brain can only remember so many things for most of us mere mortals. And if I string too many things together, one's bound to get lost in the translation. Good. Now I'm warmed up, right? Hopefully you are too. All right, come on back to table pose, everybody. Breathe. Press your right leg back. Squeeze your belly in. Lift that leg. Turn the leg out to the side, right? So your toes are pointing down and then they're pointing sideways. And then see if you can start to release the right hand. Bring that right hand to your hip. Squeeze the belly. One way to make this easier is to kickstand your left foot out. Breathe. So this whole side body getting some tone here. Take the right arm up again, optionally. Squeeze your belly and then just see if your top leg, your right leg, will lift any amount toward your hand. Keep the toes sideways though, right? So we're really working side hip. That's it. Hold, 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 breathe. And then start to lower first the hand, Turn the toes back down. Release your leg. Shake it out. Step back with your left foot. Lift the left foot. Squeeze your belly. Turn the toes to the side. Externally rotating that hip. And then begin to open up on that side. Whoop. Right? Squeeze the belly. Maybe the arm comes up. And then see if your top leg will lift any amount, keeping the toes to the side. We're working hip. No big, right? No kidding. Whew. That's it. Find it. Squeeze it. And release your hand. Turn your toes back down. Release your leg. Flip both sets of toes under. Lift your knees off the floor. Squeeze your belly. Let's come to downward facing dog. Flexing one foot and then the other. That's it. Good. Come back to the center, tippy toes. Stretch out the feet. Try to get all your toes involved. And lower the heels, squeeze the belly. Bend just your right knee. Bring your right heel to your right butt. Lift the knee away from the floor. Straighten the leg. 3-leg down dog. Good, little bit of more work here. By the way, you can be on knees for this. If you're on knees, your table pose, but let's bring right knee to right elbow. Squeeze it in, press it out. Now this is slow. Squeeze it in, press it out, and squeeze in. Check your hands, squeeze out. 2 more. Squeeze it in and out. Last one. Squeeze in. Reach it out. Bend your knee. Bring your knee back in. Step forward. You're now in a lunge. Lower your left knee. Undo your toes. Inhale, reach the arms up. Just breathe. Whew. Maybe take your hands to your knee, roll the shoulders open, and just find the lunge for you. Now, watching your knee, maybe take your knee forward of your ankle a little bit. Don't bounce, right? So, stretching through the Achilles here, the calf muscles. Static stretch, watch your knee. Find your breath. Good. Squeeze your belly. Inhale the arms up. Exhale your hands back down to the floor. Lift your left knee off the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Once again, little pedal here. Breathe. And then bend your left knee only. Take your toes off. Bring your heel to your hips. Lift the knee. Straighten the leg. Hold 3-leg dog. Squeeze your belly. And then remember, you can lower to both knees, table pose, as you bring knee to elbow. Here we go for 5. Squeeze it in and out. Good. Squeeze it in and out. Tone that belly and in for 3. Lift up. 4. Squeeze up. Last one. 5. Squeeze and up. And then bend your knee. Heel goes back to your glute. Draw your knee forward and step forward. Left leg. Knee to the floor. Right knee to the floor. Inhale, reach up. Find your breath. Maybe circle your wrists. Right? Always giving those babies a little bit of a shake. And then take your hands to your knee and maybe draw the hips forward a little more than you would normally. Soften the shoulders, tone the belly. Find your pose. That's it. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale your hands to the floor. Lift your right knee. Step back, downward facing dog. Shake it out, everybody. Lift your right leg optionally. Breathe. Step all the way through to lunge. Lower your left knee to the floor. Listen up. So maybe you have your blocks nearby. Take your hands to your blocks. Squeeze your belly. Bend your back knee. Oh, yeah. Say good morning to your quads, right? The front of your left thigh should be feeling a stretch. 1, you're here. 2, release that back leg because that's enough stretch. 3, your right hand lifts up. It circles back. Maybe it finds your foot. Maybe not. That's it. Breathe. Sometimes we'll use a strap here, right? But it's not always necessary because it can get a little fussy at times. So if you don't reach your foot, you're just reaching that arm back. You're still getting the twist. You're still getting your stretch. You're finding your breath. Good. Release that leg. Release that hand back to your block. Good. Lift your knee off the floor. Maybe set your blocks aside for a moment. Step back, downward facing dog. Plant those hands, dig those hands in. Lift your left leg. Find your breath, right? So when we talk about body strength, right? Having to hold this 3-leg pose, a lot of work for the upper body, the shoulders. Step all the way through. Lower your right knee to the floor. Hands go back to blocks. Shoulders lift up and go wide. We start here in our nice, easy stretch. Either stay here or bend your right knee. Pause there. How's that feel? Only if you want. Left arm reaches forward. Follow it all the way back so that the shoulder opens. We get as much distance as we can as we draw that foot nearer. If we can. If not, you're just reaching back, opening up your spine. That's it. What's happening with your front foot? I just noticed mine was kind of curling off to the side. So I replanted my front foot. Release that foot if you've got a hold of it. Take your hand back to your block. Straighten your back leg. Set your blocks aside. Plant your hands, lift your knees, step back, down dog. And then walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Roll the shoulders wide. Bend your knees and come on up to standing. Exhale. Shake it out, everybody. Good. We should all be pretty nice and warm at this point. So, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, reach the arms up. Hands come to your heart, chair pose. Open up the shoulders, tone the belly, lengthen the tailbone, right? All those same cues, they come in so much through everything. And then take a look at your feet. They should be parallel to each other. They should be roughly hips width apart. You're sitting way back in your pose. Here's where the challenge comes. Leave your hands pretty much at your heart. So we're gonna squat into your level, push into your left foot and lift your right. Woo. And step it back down on purpose. Squat down and lift up. Watch your knees, other leg. So when you step down, make sure the feet are coming back to that roughly hips width. Lift up, right leg. Down and up. Notice which leg is more solid. Down. Push as you lift. Down. Yeah, we got it. And lift. Take it down. And lift up. We got one more. And down. And up. Good. Down into chair pose, everybody. Arms reach out, belly tones in. We find our pose. Bring our hands to the floor. Walk out to downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Breathe. Lift your right leg. Step all the way through to lunge. Good. Your choice here. Knee up or knee up or knee down, right? Left hand to the floor, right arm up. Easy twist. Don't let your back foot, back leg turn to the side. Keep it steady. You got it. And release it. Step back, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg. Squeeze that belly. Step all the way through. Right hand to the floor, left arm up. Find your breath. That's it. Let that hand come to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Lower your knees to the floor. And pause again, hero pose or child's pose. As I readjust my mat. There we go. So we're starting to really notice, right, as we warm up the hips, as we get things going, right? We work with these side hips, we work with the glutes, all that good stuff. So from either your hero pose or your child's pose, I want you to come back to table pose. So wherever you are, squeeze into the hands, tone your belly, step one leg back, step the other leg back, plank pose, right? So the chest lifts forward, but the tailbone reaches back. The belly squeezes in, the head is neutral, and we find our breath here. I want you to lower your right knee underneath your hip, kickstand out. We're back to this pose. Turn the left leg out to the side, flex your foot, take the arm up, squeeze your belly. Maybe this time take the arm overhead and breathe. Now, here's where it will be a little bit more challenging. 1, you're here. 2, your hand comes to your hip, you just hang out. 3, you lower the leg, right? Little more stable, or elbow to knee, squeeze it in, press it out. Squeeze, go slow. Whew. Out. That's 3. Out, squeeze your belly. 4. And out. Last one, 5. And out. Good. Turn your hip, turn your hand. Straighten it out. Lower your left foot. Just gonna turn myself around here. Come back to plank. Squeeze it in. Find your breath. You got this. And then lower your left knee to the floor, maybe kickstand. Open up to your side. Find your wrists relatively under shoulder, right? Knee under hip. Really tone the belly. Take the arm up. All of this optional. Find stability first. There's no ease without stability, right? Take the right arm over ear. Squeeze in. Good. 5, elbow to knee. Squeeze it in and out. Squeeze and out. You got it. 3. Woo. 4. And out. Last one. Squeeze in and out. Release. Turn it back. Drop your foot. Come back to plank. Hold your pose. Squeeze your belly. Squeeze your belly. Squeeze your body. Find your breath. Down dog. Breathe. Flex it. Stretch it out. Walk the hands back. Bend your knees. Just take your fingers under your toes. So your palms are face up. You're stepping on your fingers. Good, breathe. You can straighten the legs any amount. Some of you will have very bent knees here. Good, breathe. Release the hands. Bend your knees, hands to knees, come up through neutral spine. And roll it out, shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. Getting my sweetheart in the other room ready for our hike later. As well as me, right? Good. So I was saying before class that, doing a few things yesterday, I felt my lower back and hips a little bit. We were doing some lifting of stuff. And so we want to make sure that we, one, continue to strengthen it, two, continue to stretch it, right? So it's really important. So simply just take your hands to your hips and step your left foot back so that you're on your back toes. And then squeeze your left glute. Squeeze the belly in. And stand really tall, really, really tall here. And just kind of notice, right? As you keep this glute engaged, maybe you find more stretch as you lean back a little bit in the front psoas. So this hip extension is oddly, it's like for most people, 0 to 15% stretch. Anything past that, and we're just moving into our lower backs. So we're stretching the front of the hip here. Good. And then if you were leaning back, take your torso back to neutral. Come to the tip of your big toe, squeeze your belly, lift your leg, hold. Good. Balance work again. Keeping this super, super active through the whole back hip, back glute. Good. From here, same knee, bring it up to your chest. Hold, flex your foot, take the arms up, balance work. Breathe. And release it, lower it down. Shake it out. Going to the other side, you're gonna just step back with your right leg. You're on your toe, right on the toe or the ball mound. You're pressing the hips forward, but you're really toning the belly and you're checking out the engagement of that right side glute. Sometimes we'll be strong on one side and not strong on the other side, or less strong, right? So we want to kind of notice that imbalance a little bit. So feel this good squeeze. Maybe you lean back a little bit and feel the stretch. That's it. And then take the torso back to neutral. Start on your big toe. Maybe that's where you stay, balance work, or you lift. So I can feel, even for me, this side doesn't have the stretch in the front of the hip nearly as much. I have to engage more and have to really watch low back to not just fall into that space. So keep it squeezing, right? Balance work here. You can always tap your toe and lift back up. Woo. But when you're ready, bend the knee, bring it up toward your chest, take the arms up, tone the belly, press strongly into your standing leg. And release, shake it out. Turn yourself around, do the hokey pokey. We're back to standing right side, step back through your left. Once again, squeeze in, squeeze up, feel the hip engage. Hands to your heart. Breathe. Now this is actually someplace where if you have a strap and you want a strap, we're moving to dancer pose. So if you would like to use a strap, I didn't think about that until just a second ago. You can have a loop or no loop, and you can put your foot around the loop so that when we bend, you have that, okay? So loop, no loop, strap, no strap. But here we are again. Whew, okay. So from here, feel the engagement, feel the opening of your front left hip and bend the knee and just hold that. Now, you might cramp hamstring. If you do, just stretch it and then bring it back. Find your breath. Standing legs, super strong. Arms reach up. 1, you're here. 2, strap, no strap. Your hand holds onto your foot. Press the knee back a little to find the stretch at the front hip, but don't go into a back bend in your lower back. 3, you're here. 4, take the torso forward and breathe. Standing leg, having to do a whole bunch of work here. That's it. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Release. And shake it out. Good. Shake it out, everybody. Let's go to the other side. So when you're ready, right? Maybe that strap is around your right foot. We step back with the right leg. We find that engagement. Left leg strong. Again, side to side, right? One leg more balanced, easier to balance than the other. So we play where we are. Belly squeeze. And we find the stretch along the front of the right hip. Good, breathe. 1, you're here. 2, maybe you lift the toes. 3, bend the knee. Maybe you reach back, grab the foot. Take the left arm up, squeeze your belly. You're here, or you push foot into hand and tilt forward. That's it. Thank you, Bannister. Breathe. And release. And shake it out. Whew, that's it. All right, so I want you toward the back of your mat. Toward the back of your mat, not all the way back, but close. So again, balance work. You might want to be near a wall or near a friendly little banister. Come really tall. You're going to bend both knees like you're in chair pose. To the best of your ability, you're going to take your left foot and you're either going to cross it over your right at your shin or at your thigh for a figure 4 standing. If you stand really tall, this is what we were doing when we were seated on the floor. So stand tall, right leg straight, balance again, I know. Just breathe. Again, this is the easiest part of this. So if this is where you would like to stay, and it's easy only in that it's less challenging. It's not easy. so it's a little less challenging, and maybe you stay here and just work on that standing leg strength. Otherwise, I want you to bend your knee, find your still spot, and come into a squat. Yep, so it's like you're sitting in a chair, figure 4, but there's no chair. Breathe. Again, challenge-wise, maybe the hands come to the floor. This is a lot of hip opening, so be mindful. Breathe. And then the final challenge, and I just made this up, so don't do it if you don't want to. You're gonna walk out to this funky downward facing dog figure 4 pose. The part I'm making up is the walking out part, right? It's a whole bunch of work. And then walk your hands back, bend your knee, squeeze your belly, come to standing, holy moly, and release, shake it out. Like I made it up earlier, not like just the second on the spot, but I thought, what happens if you're here and then you walk out to down dog? So that's where that went. All right, other side. Shake it out. You know, it's like you're getting ready for a big race. You got to psych yourself up a little bit. That's where we're at. All right. So you're standing tall, belly's in. Remember, trust yourself. Maybe you're near a wall. You've got one hand to a wall. Maybe you're just resting calf to shin. But otherwise, I want you to come into figure 4 on this side. So standing tall, engage the glute. Think about the fact that when we were sitting on the floor, the standing leg's not hyperextending, right? We're pressing thigh into foot, foot into thigh, belly squeeze. 1, you're here. 2, come into a squat. Stay with your still point somewhere in front of you. Squeeze, you're stretching that hip. I know you are. 1, you're here. 2, you're out. 3, hands come to the floor. Ooh, there's a good stretch. Or you're walking those hands out to a funky 3-leg down dog. Big deep breath, belly squeeze. And walk the hands back best you can. Upper body strength. Bend your knee to squat. Squeeze your belly. Woo, and come up. Wow. And release. Right? Definitely could feel the difference, right leg to left leg from a strength and balance standpoint. So it's just good information. All right, you're at the back of your mat. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, take it down. Breathe, bend your knees. If you can walk your whole hand under your foot, basically your toes are at your wrists. That's where you're going. Your knees are bent as much as you need to. It's kind of like giving your hands a little massage. And even your big toes can press into the thumb pads of your hands to release some of that tension. Good, breathe everybody. Release your hands. Walk them out, down dog. Plant those hands. Find your stretch. Breathe. Good, listen up. Either you're coming to lunge, so you're lifting your right leg. Either you're coming to a lunge or you're sliding your knee to the floor instead of your foot. Slide your left foot back. Turn your right foot toward the left. You got it, pigeon, everybody. So we played with this last week. Maybe you have a block that you put under your hip. Okay, if your right hip isn't on the floor or within a few millimeters, grab your block, right? Because then we play with the hips leveling out. And what does that mean? Usually the bent knees hip drops to the floor as a way to compensate. That's not a horrible thing, by the way. If you want to take that hip to the floor, if that makes your pose easier, you're sitting more to the side and your hands are forward. If you can, your hips are centered, squared over the center, right? Squared, centered over your center. And you're finding pigeon on the side. Now, what I really want you to feel is the long left leg, the one that's not bent. I want you to draw that torso long there and feel the stretch in the belly of your left side. Use your breath, everybody. Good. We're going to reverse the way we did this. So simply, right? So simply press into your hands and start to draw your torso away from the floor. Flip your toes under, lift your knee off the floor, squeeze the pelvis up, release to down dog. Breathe, pedal it out. Remember the option, right? Left leg lifts. You can come to a lunge, low lunge, high lunge. Even that knee could go out to the side a little bit to get that external rotation. So don't force your pigeon. Otherwise, you're going to slide in your left knee. It's like, you're running to home base and you're sliding in. And then you're going to kickstand your foot toward the right. Shimmy your left or your right side down. Block, no block under your left hip. Please trust your body. The thing I don't care to see is a hanging, like you're lifted way off the floor and you're just hanging in space. I don't care for that for the joints. So if you don't feel really steady, really solid, block under your butt, okay? And then you're just checking it out. Shoulders get wide, belly tones in, and we're staying tall today, right? No lazy pigeon, no sleepy pigeons, right? We're staying up nice and tall. We're stretching out. Now feel the right hip, that long legs hip, front hip, stretching out all the way into your belly. That's it. All right, so here we are coming out. Plant your hands. Feel your whole torso move away from the floor like an elevator. Flip your toes under, lift your knee. Squeeze your belly, lift that leg, step it back. Downward facing dog. Lower to your knees, everybody. And come to child's pose or come to hero pose, wherever you need to be to take a rest. That's it. I know for some of you, hip work, especially this type of hip work, can be very challenging. But we take what we can do, right? We modify, we get creative. I know one person in particular who is very creative in these kinds of poses so that she doesn't overdo it. And we just see, what's the body going to do today? Where's it going to go? You know, the struggle comes from resistance, from resisting what is. And so we just try to let go of some of that struggle. All right, here we go. So we're going to move back to pigeon the same way we did before. We're going to add on just one more thing for kind of our final bigger pose. So start in downward facing dog. Have your block near you. In fact, you might want both blocks nearby just to have them. Come to down dog. Your down dog should feel so stretchy at this point, right? The body's just so nice and open, so warm. Breathe. When you're ready, right leg lifts. Once again, either step forward for lunge or slide your right knee into home plate. Turn the foot to the left. Shimmy your left leg back. Release those toes. You're back to pigeon. Take your blocks. One can be under your hip, just like before. So if you have one block under your bent knees hip for support, I really like that idea. Your other hand, your hands can be on your other block, which is just in front of you. Try to stay tall, right? This is back bend, and feel the stretch of your front left thigh. Now, optionally here, one, you're here. Two, you're gonna bend your back knee. I just lost my block under my hip. You're gonna bend your back knee and hold. Your left hand stays on your block. Your right arm reaches back. You maybe find your foot. Woo, maybe not. You certainly find your breath, right? Just breathe, everyone. That's it. Big, 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 big stretch. La, 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 right? Think about crossing that finish line or crossing that home plate. Good, release the leg. Woo. Take your right hand back to center. Take the block out from your hip. Come out the way you came in. So big tone of the belly, lift away from the floor, lift your knee, step back, down dog. Stretch it out, everyone. Here we are. Ready when you are. Left leg up. Breathe. Slide your left knee in. Turn your foot to the right. Shimmy the right leg back. One block maybe under hip. That block under hip, especially for this version, can really be helpful in helping you stay high without fully dumping your weight into the pelvis. So we're here, we're tall, right? Either stay here or bend your back knee. Reach with your left arm. Find your foot and breathe. Big stretch for the quad, for the thigh muscle. Try to keep the torso tall. And breathe into it, everyone. Good, release. Holy moly. Bring your hands forward. Move your blocks aside. I know. We'll recover, I promise. Lift your knees. Squeeze your belly. Downward facing dog. Lower your knees to the floor and come to a seat. Ooh, straighten out the legs. Just shake. Shake out the wrists. And then bend your knees and take your feet wide. Lean back on your hands. You can even go to soft fists here. I know we've been doing a lot on our wrists. Windshield wiper the legs. And then go slow enough so that it's not just windshield wipering your knees, but you feel the movement over the glutes, right? Over those hips and glutes. I'm going to mirror here. So if you're looking at your screen and all of a sudden I say left and you see right, mirroring here just so you can follow. Take your knees to the left. You're leaning on your left hand. Take your right leg and just scoot it back a little bit. So you're a little bit wider here. You're leaning on your left hand. Take the right arm up. Turn your whole torso toward that side. Feel that stretch one last time. And then both hands are in front of you as you start to maybe come down, maybe all the way to the floor. Just stretching out these hips. Everybody breathe. You can play with the legs here. You can bring the right knee back a little bit more if you want a little bit different or more stretch. If you don't come all the way to the floor, you can use your hands, stacked fists for a little pillow, right? You can be up on your elbows here. What feels good? Besides Shavasana, we're almost in Shavasana. Hang in. Just breathe, just feel it. Good, wherever you are in this pose, if you're down low, walk up. Leave your left hand on the mat, take the right arm up, stretch it back. Bring the legs back to alignment and take the feet wide, windshield wiper the legs. And then let the knees go to the right. You're leaning on that right hand. Take that back knee and just roll it back some. Again, you'll start to play with it once you're there. Just moving my blocks out of the way. Take your left hand, reach it up. Turn it to the side so you're reaching out in front of you. Let both hands come to the floor. and come down at your level. Once again, you can take that back knee and slide it back some. You can play with the angles. I like both knees more or less 90-degree-ish. And then just settle in, right? Just allow your body to take in this pose. One leg internally rotated, one externally rotated. All the hip work we've been doing. Just breathe. Can you feel your jaw just releasing here, right? Feel the space behind the eyes releasing, the jaw, the belly. And then slowly release, as good as that feels, slowly release it. Take your torso up. Let the left hand come back. Let the knees come back. Straighten out both legs. Both legs, slide both legs up. Take both soles of the feet together. Back to Badakanasana. Last one. Good. So again, always mindful, because there's no way to keep the torso perfectly aligned here, but we are well warmed up. And so if you want to take your body forward, you can use your block, right? And take your elbows to your block. That's a really nice way to find the middle ground here, the middle space. You can take it lower. If you go too low or round too much, you can just make that low back really cranky. So I just ask you to be mindful, especially those of you who I know who are always playing with low back challenges. So just breathe. Good. If you are forward, press up. Squeeze the belly. Bring the knees back to center. One last thing here before we come to our backs. Grab your block, place it between your knees. You can even go wide here. So it's between knees unless that hurts. Lean back, squeeze your block. Just a little reset here, little hip reset. I don't know about you, but that feels really good to me after all the hip work. It always seems to just realign things again. And then take the same block, second width, bring the feet in to match, squeeze. Take the block at the most narrow width, bring the feet in to match, squeeze, last one. And release. All right, so if you have a strap, grab your strap. I'm gonna throw my sweater back on. We're coming down to the floor. We're gonna use that strap for a happy baby pose. And I'm gonna just try to come into it a little bit different so that it might make more sense. So you're sitting on your mat so that your feet are toward the edge of your mat. And you're gonna take your strap and just lay it over the top of both feet. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. And then wrap them from the top of your feet around the outside to the soles of your feet and back through the middle. So it's so hard to show on camera. So I think that hopefully that made sense. Top of your feet, around the outside pinky edge, under the soles of your feet, back through the middle. Hold on to both straps. Keep your knees bent. Come down to your back. Just pause. As long as the strap is where you can get to it, just release that for a moment and just let your back settle. There's a whole lot of work there with all of our dancers and things we did, all our hip stuff. And then hold your strap, bring your knees toward your chest, lift your feet up. You're going to take one hand in either strap, open the legs up, keep the knees bent, and then just pull on the straps down through the middle to come into this version of happy baby. I have my feet wrapped. The strap's going to allow me to go as wide or as narrow as I want. I'm not pulling hard on the strap. I'm really letting my arms be the gravity, right? Be the weight to keep those feet parallel to the ceiling, the knees to the side body. And then the only other thing I want you to do is, instead of rounding the spine completely, I want you to draw your sacrum back toward the mat to create a tiny bit of space in your lower back. Like I could throw a little something underneath there and it would have some room. So don't overarch, just a little bit of space. And then close your eyes. Let your hands be the heavy weight for the feet to bring those in position. Relax your toes even. I just realized I was flaring out my toes. Just relax. If you go back to rounding the low back, see if you can stay on the sacrum instead of on the low back. So just move the hips away enough to create the space. Completely relax your jaw, relax your belly, relax your toes. Breathe. Allow the legs to get heavier if they will, right? So allow the depth of this pose, that deepness in the hips. Lengthen through the back of your neck. Make sure your head isn't tilted backwards. So nice length through the back. You're just barely holding onto the strap. See if you can stay 2 more breaths here. And then start to pull on the strap as you straighten the legs. Allow the legs to come together, feet together, legs together. Pull on your strap. Just ground here. It should feel really good. And then bend your knees. Let your feet come to the floor. Slide your legs straight and keep your feet bound if you want. Just let your strap drop and come to Shavasana. If your feet close together, if you feel that particularly in your lower back, then just go ahead and open the feet. You can hold strap or not, depending on how long your strap is. And then just start to let go. Start to let go of anything that you're holding. Let the feet open up organically. Let the legs open up. Shoulders soft to the floor. And just feel that quietness return to your body. Feel the quietness return to your mind. Soften even more, everyone. Notice any subtle energy of tension that wants to creep back in, and see if you can allow it to relax. The more we become aware of these little subtle moments, the more we can stop the bigger ones from happening. Soften the eyes and the jaw and the belly and the hips. Some of you may wish to stay in Shavasana. So if you are there, stay there, enjoy, just snuggle in and allow your body this rest and recovery. For those who are ready, slowly wiggle your toes, your fingers. Draw your knees to your chest. And take your time here to rock side to side. Slowly allowing the knees to roll to one side, curl into fetal pose, and just stay for 1 or 2 breaths. And feel that, right? Feel that wonderful sweetness. From there, as you're ready, slowly make your way to your seated pose.